Blue jean baby, LA lady, seamstress for the band, pretty-eyed pirate smile, you make a merry music man. Ballerina, you must have seen her dancing in the sand. And now she's in me, always with me. Tiny dancer in my hand. Oh, it's another beautiful day here just outside in the suburbs of Massachusetts. Heading out of spring into summer full on. I don't know. You know, we had all these different themes for the summer coming out of the COVID.
We just had winter.
It was the hot. Yeah, true. Yeah, we had a couple of days. We were supposed to have the hot waxed summer. We were supposed to have
that didn't happen.
Whatever the American boy summer. What was it that Tom Hanks's son was calling it? Like, why do we fucking care? But yeah, what the fuck was?
You may want to clarify which son for the benefit of the Hanks.
Was it Chad? I don't know his fucking sons. I don't know. I watch Tom Hanks's boys. I watch Tom Hanks movies. I don't watch his sons.
So yes, you mean the one who speaks in as he believes fluent patois? You mean that one?
Oh, that one. Oh, did he add that to it? I know he was a bit of a bro. So we already started that.
He is a bit of a Renaissance man and all the wrong things.
Yeah. And yes, that was always very clear that
yes.
he was that was very clear that he was doing the cringe extremely well. That he was not, he was not exactly reading the room. This much seemed to be.
He's
the
a
case.
thought experiment in what happens when you raise a child in a single room with no other influences than Vanilla Ice and snow. and then when he's good, you let him out and you let him watch only the Rastafarian parts of Gary Oldman's IMDb, which I believe only extends in one movie, but you only get to see those scenes. That's it.
Okay.
Yes. Boom boom down.
A lucky boom boom down. Another shout out to the Great White North there. One of the finest.
Mr. Hanks knows what that means.
Yeah.
Licky boom boom down.
Clearly, poetry without
so powerful.
What do you think is worse, being Tom Hanks or being Colin Hanks? Because I feel like Mary gets to like skip a lot of this bullshit. But I think Tom and Colin are constantly like, hey, can we talk to you? Like, Tom, like, can we talk to you about your son? It's like, goddamn, I know which one you're talking about. And walking up to Colin, can I talk to your brother? Like, there could be other siblings in the Hanks household, but Colin knows exactly who you're talking about. He's like, can I just get back to like this directing thing I'm trying to do? Like,
and my thing was like, how the fuck is that Tom Hanks's son? How did Forrest Gump make this? Like, how did this happen?
And the mom,
it could be overcompensating because your dad is known for being in drag, playing a gay man who's dying of AIDS, talking to dogs, and playing a handicapped dude from the 60s. Like, I guess this is his only way of manning up. When your dad is just yelling for Wilson, I mean, how hard can you be? Right? It's like, ain't your dad that dude that was on an island with a ball? Did he fuck the ball? He fucked the ball, didn't he? He fucked the ball.
He did. Let's be honest. Let's be. I mean, who among us? Come on. How many years was he stranded on that desert island? He had to do 2 surgery on his own. Like, Wilson and him were tight.
All right, what? Normally I would just let that dumb BS the two of you are spewing off on some sophomoric rant BS go, but how would that happen considering that Wilson stayed intact the whole time? So how exactly is this happening in your minds?
Where there's a will, there's a way. But we won't go, we'll go as you say, sophomoric. Hello, have you met us before? How many years have we been friends? But I'll spare the listeners. Like my
all the things
humor,
on a deserted island. You think this man is gonna figure out how to get his rocks off with a fucking soccer ball? Like that's where we're at. A volleyball.
I'm starting to
Volleyball.
feel like you've never met a man.
I was
I'm
just
starting
going
to think you guys have never met a man.
Whoa.
I don't know.
I was right.
And by the way, what exactly are you banging when you're using a ball to replace that idea? Like, what do you think that you're hitting?
First of all, I just want to say any further questioning is on your soul. Okay, it's on your soul.
Clean, my friend.
Yeah.
My soul.
And secondly,
like Mrs.
Hanks. Do we really want to run down a list of the things that should not be fucked, but men have fucked?
Right. I mean,
that was my question.
I mean, do we really want to go down this list?
That was my question.
I will be the adult in the room, and I'll pull us up short on that, but I'll just leave it to the listener's imagination. I mean, I think we can do that safely.
My point was that he's on a deserted island. You guys think that the best he's going to come up with to get his rocks off is banging a volleyball. I'm pointing out the exact opposite of what you guys are trying to say. I'm pointing out, which is I really don't think ingenuity is going to stop there for that guy.
I didn't say the best. I
didn't say it was monogamous. I'm just saying.
Right.
Yeah. Lots of people play more than one sport. So I
don't know what to tell you.
Right? I mean, by the time you've been there,
I think you guys are telling the readers a little bit more about how you guys get your rocks off.
Hey, we're please, like I said, put him to sleep with the vanilla flavor there. That's cool. Anyway, well, you have, in fact, not slipped through to the Twilight Zone.
Try humping your way through an island. Weird.
Well, that sounds, Again, have we? I
won't hold that against. You know what? I'm gonna forget you said that. I don't want anything bad to happen to you. You're my man.
That's right.
But if you end up on an island by yourself, you do what the fuck you got to do. All right.
Yeah, that's okay.
I will not be try humping a ball. I can tell you that right now.
If you got a ball, son, that was a movie.
RaShaun, all I'm saying is, should that scenario occur and years later you have to come back to us, Greg and I are going to forgive you. That's how it's going to be. We're not going to say I told you so. We're not going to say I told you so. All right. Well,
I can promise you
that to do, man.
I can promise you I will pass that test 100% every single time if it comes down to did you hump a volleyball? That will 100% be passed every single time.
Okay.
No problem. Now, if you get to other objects on the island, I can't say where we're going to land, but that's my point. That's my entire point.
All right. That's it.
I'm not going to hold you to that.
We're not gonna judge you. Don't worry about it. You haven't slipped through the Twilight Zone. You're not stuck. You're not stuck on a desert island looking for sexual outlet from a volleyball. In fact, you have tuned into the Steam, gentlemen. We are here. We're in the secret Steam tunnels. My name is Josh. I go by the moniker the Birdman. And, not sure quite what other monikers RaShaun would put on me right now. But you also heard the voice of my co-host, RaShaun Smith. He goes by the 3 of Clubs. Talk to the people today, RaShaun. Tell us what's going on.
What do you do? How do you do? Happy to be with all of you. That's all I got. Because I was sitting there talking shit while you were talking. So I ran out of things to talk about. So,
all right. Fair.
Hello, everyone. Heyo. Good to see everyone.
Heyo. All right. Also, I am joined as well by the incomparable, the indubitable, the one, the only Star Child. You can see him in your mind's eye as from Parliament Funkadelic, as you should. But I still hold a little. I still in my mind's eye see you in the Kiss makeup when I hear Star Child. I'm going to be honest with you like that, which ain't bad as far as it goes.
What? Wait,
it's not above me, but
but that's the wrong Star Child, and you know that we've always been talking about Funkadelic.
I do, and I grew to love Funkadelic and understand Funkadelic, but as a young child, Kiss was the way to piss my parents off and listen to that. Like early on, like my father, as a young child, my father heard that I liked Kiss and was not happy. So there you go. That's how it goes. Greg, talk to us. How you doing today?
Thrilled and a pleasure. Hello, listeners. Thank you for tuning in.
he is a man going straight to the point today. He is, counting his blessings, counting his gratitude. I was just re-listening to that clip from last week when we were talking about the devil's plans and how apparently
shitty plans.
This wasn't shitty plans. Exactly. I realized we did miss one chance to make a boys reference when it comes down to the seeing the devil's plans of, putting the wrong swimsuits on children or whatever the hell is supposed to be going on. I need the fucking diabolical. Right? That's what it has. That has to be there. Either that or Ghostbusters, right? That was your big plan. Get her. Those are the only two things I could think of when I was thinking about it. Really putting that into perspective. So I think henceforth we have to remember that whenever we're talking about the big plans for the devil, or those two things to put it on there, right?
I don't know if our listeners are checking in to see how many The Boys references we're dropping on random things. So I think we're in the clear there, man. I think we're moving forward in a pretty decent direction. I could be wrong. You could be getting a lot of hate mail about the lack of The Boys references that we're dropping, which is fair. You're thank God for your burden. Bless your heart, and thank you for your service.
You're not the only one who thinks about this thing in the off time, RaShaun. I'm like, God damn it! There was a total The Boys.
I do like to think of myself like a virus, and not in a good way. Obviously, I mean, I don't know how a virus could be a good way, but I do start to really seep into individuals' actions and start changing for the worse. I mean, shit, my wife liked to go out before she met me. Now she's like, I hate the world. And I have a strong feeling that has a lot to do with me and not to do with the world. So,
wow.
Yeah.
I wish I knew that. We could have stepped out with Sarah.
There we go.
Sarah, what you doing?
Oh, it's gonna be like that. Easy now, easy.
I'm staying downstairs when Star Child comes around.
Wait, what?
Take it down. Whoa, man. Whoa,
what?
God damn.
What?
Watch out, Josh. Guys. You might be next.
Jesus.
Holy mackerel.
It starts with the voice.
Was so pandemic, man. Don't even. We're like past that, bro.
Greg's gonna show up like, can I paint you a picture? Can't paint you.
Just
let Panda like lay behind you
with a bowl of fruit.
Right?
Panda is for our listeners. Panda is RaShaun's cat, so that does at least put it into some perspective. Otherwise, I don't know if we've ever. That is sort of the fourth unofficial Steam Gentleman is Panda. We love Panda.
Oh,
so
I'm pretty sure Amelia and Michael are going to be pretty upset. They just got moved down the line.
Had they met?
Even JT might have a claim on that.
That's true, but have they met Panda? But all right, well,
I'm pretty sure if Amelia met Panda, I would never see Panda again.
Oh, all right. She's a vegan. Come on, man.
I didn't mean she would eat the cat. Are you insane? I mean, like she would eat the cat. Why is that your first shot? Why is that your first shot? Like, how is that number one on your list? That should have been like number 7.
Because I mean, bless Amelia and bless being vegan, but I am so not vegan. It's pretty true. Watch, people watch the movie Alive and they're like, could you do that? I'm like, yeah, probably could. So
if I'm one of the people alive, that's the idea. Staying alive.
That's it, man. What do we got? We got any ketchup packets up in this bitch? What's going on? That's working.
Give me fire.
And that was raw human they ate, right?
Yeah,
towards the beginning. In the beginning, I think they kind of figured out things weirdly enough at the end.
They figured out a few things, but speaking of shameful
speaking
things,
of not figuring things out.
Quiet. Yeah, not figuring it out and really trying to force my way through this segue. I bring us to the subject for the week. Subject for the week. Week. All right, this one. I'm trying. I'm trying some new things out. We're flexing. We're doing whatever we can. We're trying to class up the show a little bit. We did start with
leveling up. Are we leveling up?
We're leveling up. We're leveling up. Though keep in mind, we did start the show with having sex with a volleyball on a desert island. So,
some of
we
us
got
were.
Look, man,
we got a lot of room to grow.
We're here to answer the pressing questions.
That is our mission statement. We're here.
Island full of coconuts.
We are going to go to RaShaun's subject this week, which was the idea of those secret shames, those guilty pleasures that exist somewhere. That's somewhere on your Zune. This is our second guilty pleasures episode. We did one on horror.
Totally not my idea.
Yeah, but that idea of those songs that you're a little embarrassed. A little bit embarrassed that she liked.
Go ahead and start my timer, because I'm just going to start by ranting on Josh for a second. And it says that, I love Josh so much, but I think we're at 7% hit rate of me actually saying an idea that I will clearly put in text message, and then it will show up actually as what we're doing. Because 93% of the time, I will put it clearly in text message, sometimes speak directly to Josh and text message, make it clear, even have Greg respond to the specific idea. And then we show up to record, and Josh is like, all right, here's the deal. Sometimes not even tell me, just hey, this is what we're doing as we're in the intro, kind of like right now. So I'm kind of hard to concentrate right now because I'm laughing my ass off, because it is almost guaranteed it is a better chance than Josh singing. And you already know I'm betting on that every single time. Josh singing is my black, so I go with it every single time.
Whoa there. You won this week, so congratulations.
You bet on Fink every time. My original idea, regardless of what these two gentlemen are about to show up and do, is that those songs, or that song that you're ashamed of that you actually liked, the songs that you look back at what the fuck was I thinking or feeling or even wanting to convey or whatever. I had, as I've made it clear to you guys, a very interesting upbringing in life and childhood. For the most part, I would argue it was pretty damn good, to the point where I didn't really hit the moody parts until, I had the coming into adolescence, coming into a bunch of different hormones, coming into a lot of different changes in your life, sort of in how your friends are interacting, all these different things. I went through that weird, moody, dark period. There's still fights that I had with my parents that I think about in my early teen years, and I'm still embarrassed about. There's shit that I totally took over the top, every teenager. It's sort of a rite of passage. Part of it is, like I said, there's so many different changes happening to you that you really don't know what the fuck is happening or how to handle it. And there's not a whole lot of guidance. So more often than not, a lot of us regress in music because, it's in some ways, I don't mean to say this in a lackluster way, but it's easy, right? You have access to it. You can repeat it. You can do it. First time I got in a car accident, I made my poor buddy Nickerson play "Don't Speak" from No Doubt 100 times in a row. This poor guy finally looked at me and said, "Look, man, you've taken one of my favorite songs and one of my favorite bands," because you have to remember the people talking on this panel. We grew up in the 90s, so No Doubt, a little different than what you guys came to understand in Gwen Stefani. If you only came to understand her from 2005 on, a little different. Matter of fact, Gwen Stefani used to have a lot of gravitas in the punk ska scene, especially in Long Beach, California. Matter of fact, one of my favorite covers in the entire world is a cover between with her and Bradley from Sublime. And matter of fact, one of my favorite albums in the whole world is Secondhand Smoke from Sublime album, and she has a song with them on it. So that No Doubt, not the No Doubt a lot of people may be thinking when they hear it. And I made him play it over and over and over. Why? Because in that moment, I was in a lot of sort of grief, and that song just hit perfectly. I don't hate that song anymore. It's not the song that I'm thinking of, but it's definitely one of those things where, to my point, when you have those moody moments or blah, 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 it's understandable that music is one of the biggest go-tos a lot of us have. And frankly, it's probably been like that throughout human history. I'm pointing that out to say, I didn't really actually hit that weird, moody, real moody shit until probably my late teens, early 20s, which puts me in the middle of college. So now I'm all by myself for the most part, because I also manipulated my housing situation a few different years in a row. One was because of sort of luck in the sense that my roommate left and decided to go back home. But the point being is I ended up living by myself most of my time in college. And despite the fact that even though Josh, as supportive and as encouraging as he can be and will continue to be, because that's his nature, he's just a good-hearted, beautiful individual who also has way more confidence than he likes to let on, to the point where he'll come on here and sing. And he's been trying to get us to go to karaoke. And frankly, if the three of us break, it's probably going to be Greg, because Greg has all the confidence in the world, and he knows it don't matter what he does one way or the other. If he sounds good or doesn't, I mean, I can see, you guys can't see his expression, but it literally was the head nod version of what I just said. I'm not that person. However, what I can say is that it isn't unforeseen, especially, God forbid, if you live with me during that time. So I'm thinking of my mom. I'm thinking of these family friends that I stayed with sometimes in between semesters. When I would get a few different, let's say, adult beverages, and I'm finally home, it's late at night, I'm hammered. Like front row Leonard Skinner hammered drunk. I'm gonna sing. I am here to fucking just belt it out. I am here to just let it go. It happened while I was in a happy mood. It happened while I was in a solemn mood. It happened, and most of the time I was in a solemn mood, because I gotta tell you, I went through a hell of a dry spell. A lot of people don't believe this when I tell them, but like I just could not get a girl to talk to me, let alone anything past that. It's almost amazing that I didn't end up as an incel. Frankly, credit to my parents and my upbringing and all my friends, because I definitely had a 2-year period where it's kind of like the prequel to a lot of different bad incel situations. It was just like, sucks. So I would come home drunk, ready to sing, and I would go through a decent amount of catalog, and the catalog built over and over and over. And that's cool. But sometimes some of those songs kind of seep through. And what I mean by that is like, yeah, it's awesome to sing some of these songs. Some of them are moody. Some of them are happy. Some are boisterous and joyful, almost like you wish you were in the middle of a bar singing with a group of people. And I've been in those situations, and it's pretty fucking cool. Matter of fact, the time I told you guys about when I woke up on the side of a highway in Nashville, Tennessee, the moments before that, a couple hours before that, I was in the middle of a country bar basement singing with 100 other Nashvillians that I probably wouldn't even rub shoulders with ever. But it was just awesome, because they're in there singing, everyone's singing. It's like, yeah, this is great. This feels awesome. Why not? So those are good moments. And sometimes those songs seep through, but here's where the problem kicks in. Then if you don't catch yourself, you kind of find yourself moving towards those lyrics. You kind of find yourself needing to sort of emulate the life that makes those lyrics make sense. You kind of start forgetting that the individuals who made or wrote those lyrics may be coming from a circumstance a little bit different than yours. And I would argue a lot of us have fallen into this trap. Most of us, if you're lucky, it happens in your teen years. And if you're wondering what example I have for you or what I may be talking about, just think of that one teen that you may have been this teen who came up in upper middle class, literally had zero problems whatsoever. Great parents, maybe if they had a big family or small family, doesn't matter. Great family, maybe relatively good looking, athletic, all these different things that could go well for someone. They have it, yet they are just sulking all the time. They're just horrible, moody individuals. It's like, what the hell is going on? It could be what happened to me the other day. So I'm kicking back. I don't know why, but for some reason, this song popped in my head. It's been a while. And I'm like, shit, man, I haven't heard that song in a fucking minute. I used to love that song. It's been a while? Hell yeah. I mean, my man, when he starts, he's so hardcore with it. Like, he's just lighting up the cigarette and stuff like that. That's all you hear. And then you hear the deep breath, and he just gets in there. And like, then you just feel his emotions. It's just hard, like he's singing it through his heart. Like, you just feel his pain. And I'm like, yeah. And I remember as a 20-year-old just singing and just almost feeling like, yeah, man, I feel what you're talking about, Aaron. And the fact that this guy is from Massachusetts too, I get it, man. I get the anger towards your dad. I get the sort of feeling of angst and the world coming down on you, and all you care about is that one woman, and then I'm listening to it as a 43-year-old, and I'm hearing fucking lyrics like, I forgot the way you taste. I'm like, what the fuck? What do you mean? And then also a random dad drop. So let me be clear with you guys. If you don't know the song I'm talking about, it's a song by the group Stayed. It's called It's Been a While. It's pretty much about a love he has for this girl, whether it's a good relationship, bad relationship. It seems like it's past relationship. He's, kind of going through the throes of it. It definitely has some deep parts, but it's also super dumb and fucking superficial. And out of nowhere, he's like talking about his dad. And like, the more I listen to it, I'm like, this is a dumb fucking song. And I can't imagine. I'm sorry, Josh, you can cut out the rest of it because I didn't even think I was going to make it this far. But I can't imagine why this actually made sense at any given fucking time. And then it got worse because this is why I actually came up with the idea and why I'm saying, Josh, cut out the rest of it. I don't give a shit because this is really the point. Then I started to think, fuck, what else was I doing during that time that made this song actually stick? Was the song actually sticking to me or was I sticking to it? And then I started to think about some of the shit I was doing during that time. How I would like just be mean as shit to my dad for no fucking reason. I would just pick fights with my mom for no damn reason. And the more I thought about it, I'm like, oh my God, worse than these dumbass songs, I tried to actually emulate this shit. I am so ashamed of that and any song that's made me do that.
I want to stand up for you on one point right away, is that Chris Rock actually has a bit stand-up in his stand-up routine about how great Gwen Stefani was. And he does a whole bit about how if you're at a stoplight and singing at a song that nobody, singing Gwen Stefani, nobody has the right to honk their horn behind you, and that you should just get out and beat the shit out of them, basically, which, all right. But he does sing Don't Speak. He also references Holla Back Girl because he's like, I fucking love that song. So, all right, just saying, Chris Rock absolutely standing up there for Miss Stefani. So you're all, I think there's a lot of acumen there for, listening to Don't Speak. I'm feeling you on Don't Speak. I don't think we need to put that in the song you need to be ashamed of.
No. If anything, I'm ashamed of the actions that made me do what I did. Like, I'm ashamed of, even to this day, when I catch up with my boy, his name is Nickerson. Sometimes I don't enunciate, so that could have came off a little wrong earlier. But sometimes even when I talk to him, I still feel a little ashamed that I made him play it over and over and over just because I was in such a mood because I got in a car accident. I was trying to figure out how I was going to explain to my mom, who that was literally the first time she left me alone with the car. So it was like, yeah, great start, RaShaun. So I was in all the feelings. And that song for the time just sort of hit perfectly. It was also in the catalog of songs I knew because I didn't have a lot of music. And so it was also something you heard on the radio. So it just kind of stuck. Same way I got to It's Been a While. And it was in a bunch of other songs I would get to. But I look back and I'm like, oh my God, like there are moments. Greg may appreciate this, but like one of my activities I ended up doing way more than I should have. Like you would think I was out partying and having a great time in college, and I definitely had my share. But at the same time, I definitely had way more moments I needed to of like being in a dark, barely lit dorm room, and trying to draw something while listening to these angsty, moody shit and just like getting more and more as if I'm living this dude's lifestyle. I don't know what kind of life this dude lived in Springfield. It could have been shitty. He could have had a horrible fucking relationship with his dad. It makes him think of him when he's thinking about tasting a woman. I don't know. Like, that's not my job. My job was just to listen. The point being is I didn't need to fucking emulate it.
I think, I think you're kind of matching like, the cringiness of the media of the time along with the cringiness of being young at the time. And it's actually an important part of your personal development. All of those cringy things you did when you were young keep you humble when you get older. And so it kind of just,
amen,
makes it possible for you to not only develop but reflect and ideally not repeat these behaviors. The media at the time, like, it's so tough when you're young because you really feel like you are the captain of the ship of popular culture. Like, you don't even think about the power that you wield, but you definitely recognize it when you're older. And, with the exception of some nostalgia baiting, no one is making like new shit for you. It's not like they're pulling back some old shit and trying to polish it off, and they give it to you again. But nobody's really making new shit for you like they did when you were a teenager. And if there's one thing you can count on as a teenager, it's melodrama. And I mean, those songs, they packed on the melodrama. Absolutely.
Okay.
Like, you'd be on your knees in the rain, staring up at the sky, because that is your life right now.
Well, guess what, Greg?
Even worse, that's what you want your life to be.
All right.
Well, fasten your seatbelts, esteemed gentlemen. I'm about to take my 10 minutes since we're talking about melodrama. I'm not going to lie. I came in here today thinking I was going to talk to you and explain to you why you should like Kelly Clarkson, even though it's, the music industry sticking its junk right in your face, telling you what to listen to, telling you what you like. I was going to explain how I have a thing for Justin Timberlake. Because, God damn it, that guy can sing, he can dance, and he's funny, and he can act. You tell me, you show me something else.
You're allowed to say he's cute.
He's cute. I got a total.
You're allowed to say he's cute.
I have a total crush on him. Maybe he's not my top 10, but still, Justin JT's down. He did Janet wrong, but other than that,
careful what you wear around him.
Yeah,
I was just gonna say Kelly and Aaron may be at the same convention each November, and it's not the one you want to go to.
All right, probably not.
I know it for a fact.
Yeah, so we're there, and that's where I thought it was gonna start with. But hearing the three of clubs lay it down and set me straight as he needs to do from time to time. That's okay. It's got to be done. That's why I hang. That's why I hang with these guys. They keep me real. They keep me grounded. They keep me in the right place that I need to be in and talking about the things that I need to talk about. Oh, looking back on those years and on those things, I need to bring you back to the mid 90s to start here. And yes, we were young, we were crazy, we were socially incestuous, and we're putting a lot. There's going to be a lot of weight on the social incest here as happens. So I'll keep the names out of it because I don't want to make it sound like I'm trashing the women involved.
Someone get this man a thesaurus.
Someone get this man a thesaurus.
You nailed it. Awesome term. I don't know. I feel like you probably have a few other synonymous words.
Maybe so. But nevertheless, way back when, starting with now, first of all, by the way, when I don't know, you said something about your father that was cracking me up earlier, RaShaun. And, I was, when you were talking about being a potential incel, if things hadn't turned out right, my father,
internet porn.
Gay.
That's what turned out right.
Turned out right. Yeah, my father thought I was gay, and it turns out I was just.
My mom went through that with me. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to hop in, but I wasn't expecting that. I had to go through the same shit with my mom. Like, do you really want me to tell you every time I hook up? I'm sorry. I was not expecting that. I just wasn't.
No,
I went through the same thing with my mom.
There was just no girl who wanted to sleep with me. I mean, it's
right? I'm with you.
Thing. And I was hanging out with people playing Dungeons and Dragons in the woods, so just thinking about that. So in that stage, there were not as many women who, young women at the time, who were hanging out in our group. So often, as was the case, people would pursue the same person. This happens. This is a stage in life that happens. So the very first girl I ever kissed, the very next day, she turned around and she told me that she was not going to be seeing me, and she was going to be seeing my one of my best friends at the time, which was just some crushing teenage shit. that, at that time seems like the entire world. Not so coincidentally, I had been introduced by this friend to the band Queensryche. Now, another friend of mine who listens to the show still loves this band, still listens to this band, and absolutely adores them. And I have to give you Exhibit A of something that is like that I'm like, wow, I did listen to this. It is a concept album called Operation Mindcrime. Oddly enough, it is sort of salient today. It's this idea of this underground movement. I think it's really painted to be left-wing at the time. But this idea of this one, very charismatic man at the head of this movement who turns this one rocker, angsty teen into a killing machine through post-hypnotic suggestion, and has him running around killing religious leaders and all these other people that he needs to kill. So, it's kind of got everything we wanted there. But of course I have this heartache going, at this time, my first real taste of heartache, my first, first true rejection, which hell, I hadn't even gotten up to the point where I could be rejected yet. Right. So really, I'm losing it over striking out once is what's happened here. Right? Is what's boiled down to. And there is a track on this album called I Don't Believe in Love. And if you could not have written a track for this period of my life more just to the point, and I listened to this fucking track again and again and again. Now, let me explain something to you. It was on quarter-inch tape, cassette tape. Kids, the ones listening to this, Jack out there in Minnesota, you don't even know what that fucking is, all right? You had a CD. I respect you for that. You could hit the button and go back. I had to rewind the motherfucker and find the pause, and there was no pauses in this thing because it was all telling one story, right? Also, I could just listen again and again. I don't believe in love. I never have. I never will. Right? Just this guy. And if you ever get, I'll try and put it in the episode description. This guy belts this shit out. Like absolutely gives it his all. Motherfucker, did I do that? Did I do that again and again and again? Just, must have worn the tape thin. Listen to shit over and over in a true moment of looking back like, wow, I did that. Okay. I did that. Now I'm going to make matters even worse for myself. Fast forward a bunch of years, same friends, different woman involved. Same group of things.
Bro, was your friend Vince Vaughn from
he was Eddie Munson. He was Eddie Munson actually. So that was the case. That it was more like inventing the Abbotts, but different woman involved. I'm out and I'm living in LA and really just looking for an excuse to move home. So I get involved.
Holy shit, was Vince Vaughn.
Vince Vaughn, yeah. I started a relationship that was questionable, and in the ideas, right there. Here's the way I put this one. Did you see the red flags, Mr. Fink? Yes, I did, and I thought they were a carnival. That's how that one went down, right? And here's the part I'm really ashamed of. To give you a point in time, it was 1998, moving into 1999, and what song was extremely popular on the radio? That being the one from Limp Bizkit. You know it. You got it. I did it all for the nookie. And I got Greg to wince. Yes, I have achieved what I wanted to achieve in this episode. But goddamn, if I didn't listen to that song a shit ton. And the video was shot outside of Fenway Park. So, I mean, come on, this is kismet. I got to be listening to that song.
That song slaps and you're lying if you say otherwise.
It's just, that's it, right? You got Fred up there. He's spitting raps. They got that bass line that's moving. And I did it all for the nookie. Come on, the nookie. Come on. You're just, banging your head to it in that white boy way. Just feeling your oats, but good. I got the exact reaction that deserves from Gregory. So I'm glad to see that I did it. But there you go, RaShaun. You set me straight. That's my 10 minutes. I got them both in there. The one's a little more obscure than the other, and realistically, but secretly, come on.
Kudos to you, Birdman, because I totally left out that one part that I'm sure my man Mark Nickerson would love for me to bring up, which is exactly what you just brought up, and what he was also starting to get pissed off at, because he had nice Monte Carlo, and he did a lot of work to get that tape deck in there. And that tape deck was starting to really get pissed off and being rewound every 3.5 minutes. So I'll hear you on that. Thank you for bringing up that one little fact, because I left that part out.
Respect to him and that Monte Carlo.
I came close to walking home so many different times. Like, I think every single time he pulled up to the light, he was just really contemplating how far he wanted to take me.
Toss you. Yeah, there you go. Just toss you out in the road. Did he have the type of tape deck that could listen for the pauses in between the songs?
No.
Did he have that feature yet? Okay, just curious. This
was like a classic Monte Carlo. So like what he could put in there was technologically, let's say, hampered, so to speak. Like it was already up against it. So he was doing the best he could. And yeah.
Fucking diabolical.
Word.
It was.
There you go. There it is.
I don't think, I'm not gonna, challenge you on your taste in women, nor am I going to chastise you in your least pussy getting days, because we all went through those dark times. They happened, and you know what?
Swingers. That's what I meant.
Mixed blessings.
Swingers. Yes. Swingers.
Greg, don't try to make us feel good by acting like you went through the same shit. We all know there wasn't a dry period in Greg's life whatsoever. I ain't.
There was a dry period.
What, middle school?
There was a dry period. Don't forget, I was a single dad, so it's hard to bring other ladies back every time. And thank God I didn't, because I swear to God, my son to this day still brings up exes I never fucking think about. Of the few women I brought home, like it still comes up. Like they're like burned in his memory. And to be fair, that Trini was thick. I ain't gonna lie. I totally understand why she's burned in his head. Like that was island sweetness right there. But really, dude, I haven't, this chick hasn't crossed my mind in 3 or 4 forevers. Like, why are you still thinking about it? And then I remember
that's your son's
when
job,
you're young,
just to
right?
remind you. Yeah,
but anyway,
your son's job.
I digressed. My point was, I'm not going to get on you about that, but you know what? I think it's not so much about being ashamed of that period, but just being like, God damn, was I an overflowing well of emotion? Right?
It's 110%.
Right? Like, God damn, I didn't have my emotions in check. Oh Lord.
And 10%.
If I may just be specific about what I was really ashamed about, was picking fights with people like my dad just to fit the mood of the song, when in fact
that's okay.
There's no fight to be had. That's really what I'm saying.
Look,
but
man,
thank you. I appreciate
that. Just means it took you there.
Yeah.
It just exactly
it took you
overflowing well of emotion. Well of Gregory.
Emotion.
I love when the paternal instinct of Greg comes out. It's doesn't come out often, but when it does, it's strong.
You're welcome,
it's,
guys.
It's like brute.
All right. Well, Greg, lay it. All right, Greg, lay it down for us.
The high karate.
I don't know. High karate. I don't know if there is any song that you're still a little cringe, yet you're feeling is a little cringe like.
I've been waiting all day for this. I can't lie.
Yes, yes. But we saved the best for last. Greg, step on up to the plate.
I mean, I won't lie, because again, I try not to feel guilty about pleasure. So if I like it, look, I like it. That doesn't mean I give myself a hell of a lot of credit for liking it. I know when I'm just, stuffing my face with some Doritos and Wendy's. I know the difference between that and, foie gras.
It's a party animal right there.
Right. You know what I mean? Like, I know I'm stuffing my face with junk food. Every now and again, all right, yeah, when I think about my little sometimes you can't help but love a really shitty pop tune, looking at you, Linkin Park. Like, you can't help it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Linkin Park?
You can't help it sometimes. Or sometimes, you know what? God damn it. Yes, Lisa Loeb. I'm going to learn every word to your song too. If you say, stay.
Yeah, keep going.
It was deep. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I listen to songs. It ain't about, thank you very much. It's not so much about me putting myself in it all the time. It's more about me going on this little white girl journey with this little white girl. And I'll go with you, Lisa Loeb. I don't care. You too, Simple Minds. I'll take this little walk with you. So for me, it's a little difficult when I think like, Jimmy Eats World. Yeah. I wonder what the fuck I was thinking.
Are you just attacking my shuffle?
I also feel a little weird when I think about like Onyx. And I think that is probably where I get hit the most, because I try to listen to a lot of old hip hop now. And it's like, especially when it comes to like the F word and right.
Yeah. It's a problem. It's a problem. Redman.
So much angsty misogyny, just so much angsty misogyny. Like, it's
like, just say you're gay. God.
Yeah, right. Like, it's just so fucking tough sometimes.
No one cares.
And then, the other end of the spectrum, you know what? Damn it. I got a respect for MC Hammer. All right. I know.
Thank you.
I know it's not cool to like Hammer right now, but MC Hammer, he owned his time and he was fantastic with it. Do I feel a little bit cringy when I put on some Michael Jackson? Look.
Or Bumps and Hump.
That too, but that was bad. But I never liked that song. It was fucking weird. It was so weird when Hammer tried to do that shit. But things like that, when you find out certain artists were into some shit. Yeah, it turns out R. Kelly, he wasn't lying. He wasn't lying. He was too real. He was too damn real. Yeah. And, yes, of course, Michael Jackson, or when that Gary Glitter song comes on, it's like, oh, we're still doing
every
this.
Sporting arena.
Right. We're still doing this. Like, I guess we could still have this on. I don't really have a problem with it. I know I should be ashamed of, say, singers like Tom Waits and Bob Dylan, because they have awful voices. They do. They have terrible voices. It's somewhere around just, I don't know, tying a bag of cats to a tree and beating it with an aluminum bat. Like, sorry, Panda. Keep walking.
They couldn't hit that note.
I would just argue that early Tom Waits is more listenable to for his voice. Old 55.
Bro, there's no point Tom Waits could sing. Stop that.
He could sing.
There's no point.
He could sing more.
No point.
In his first few albums, it was totally different. He's right.
Yeah, it's a little bit. Yeah. Edge of Saturday Night. Okay. Anyway,
I feel a little cringy with like the Monkees, because I get right. Like at the time, you really thought that, oh shit, these guys are great. I really like them, especially that guy in the hat, because he's wearing a hat. But like at your age, you didn't know that this was a totally cheesy fucking pop group. You were just enjoying it, right?
I did.
Go ahead.
I saw them in Foxborough, the old Foxborough Stadium, back with the original Pat Patriot logo. So yes, and I was totally caught up in the revival. Not gonna lie, totally down with the fucking Monkees. My entire family still hates me for it. So yes.
Oh, for you dragging them to the revival?
The whole Monkees revival, and just listening to the Monkees incessantly as only like a 10-year-old kid can. So there you go.
Proud of you. Very proud of you. At this point in my life, I definitely like Bonnie Raitt more than I should. And I'll make no apologies for Sheryl Crow. It gets tough, because that leads me to, who remembers Heart?
Oh, what?
Right.
What?
Remember Heart?
Come on now.
Heart? I will
put Barracuda right now.
Death.
Yeah.
All right. One of the best guitar players in rock and roll of all time. Like, no question about it. But yeah, I won't apologize for her. No chance in hell. So I think it's definitely, the Jimmy Eats world and that cheesy shit that I still listen to. Okay. But,
I'm taking that personal.
When you say presidents of the United States of America, you're going to get a reaction out of people.
Which is awesome. Play it. Let's go.
Who would win in a fight between them and Weezer? I don't know. We should find out.
Depends on what the fight is.
Right? Let the sweaters
Weezer's
fly.
a little... Yeah, there's that. Weezer's a little more long-standing, though. Weezer, we can make the argument, made a bit, has that a little more staying power.
Right, exactly. But probably, just weird shit like that, really angsty drama rock, really angsty hip hop. I mean, you're going to listen to Caribbean music. That's also going to get misogynistic and homophobic, especially for a certain time. That's usually the kind of angst I get. And yeah, Michael Jackson. Yeah. Tough one.
Always got to be starting something.
I will tell you, first off, just to back your play here, I'll fight any motherfucker who talks about heart in a bad way. Like that is there.
Right.
I mean, what negative are you bringing up with heart?
They brought up their weight. They brought up their age, and shit. Yes. They never supported them for being easily one of the best rock bands, but guitar players of all time.
Yeah, they were definitely given a lot of, particularly the singer, they were given in the 80s too, when they had another strong resurgence. The sound of the music had changed, yes, but everyone was giving her shit about her weight, so that started there.
Another example how your upbringing shades your experience and how you look at it, because even though I've been very clear about how heavy my house was in Motown and R&B, anything of that nature, there are certain groups that broke through, and that to me just kind of told me where they were, I guess, in the world. Like I always looked at it as, if I heard in my house, my parents like, yeah, hell yeah, then they're like universally really good. Heart was one of those groups.
Heart was amazing, yeah. But
if you're gonna be honest about the cringe factor, look into the backstory of their first hit, Magic Man, though, because that's a little bit where it's like, okay, where apparently she was 15 and he was 28, something along those lines. Like she met Matthew McConaughey out there in, out in Seattle.
Not literally Matthew McConaughey, listeners.
Not literally, just. All right. Yeah, just that character who was like high school girls, right? He was that, and it was the 70s. And yeah, apparently that shit flew a lot more. Like they would go home and meet the parents.
I love how you say apparently, like you don't know that.
Well, I was born in 74, so
True, but those adults were around us.
You fucked up. You fucked up. I was not gonna call him on that. I was gonna let him play. So you fucked up. Why would you do that? He's trying to play. He's playing innocent. He's doing the whole, well, apparently. Like, yeah, let him have his moment. That was fucked up.
I was not happy. That was not me. And my other controversial take on Michael Jackson is that the album Round Midnight is better than Thriller, and both of them were made by Casey Jones, who produced them. So that was the Quincy Jones. Did I just say Casey Jones because I'm a Celtics fan? Yeah. That's it. Yeah.
That would have been
sorry,
something.
Celtics fans. Yeah, sorry, Celtics fans. Totally thinking of a coach as opposed to a music producer. Quincy Jones made both those albums. So
those albums,
Midnight.
Yeah, those albums are totally great. And it could be in the car while off the wall is driving it.
Okay, all right.
Absolutely.
That's okay too. That's in that period again, pre-Thriller, which again is a very controversial take.
Well, I was gonna say like that brings up a whole other thing because this woman, she did a big expose about groupie culture in the 70s, and they were talking about how it was always underage girls chasing around these pop stars. And shit went down. And are we going to put, all these other pop stars and rock stars and actors on blast like we are with these people who are getting caught up in the movement at the time? And it was just the kind of collective, fuck, there won't be anyone left kind of feeling that came along with it. Like, that's gonna be everybody. It was the 70s. Well, and you know what?
Yeah,
they're probably fucking right, because a lot of these groupies, they talk about, sex with David Bowie. They talk about sex with Paul McCartney and Mick Jagger. Like, it goes on and on. So yeah, there probably would be no one left.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would add to that, because I'm totally with you, and I just think it's one thing I feel is weird is that we all point to, like, let's say the 70s. They learned it from someone. So it was happening in the 60s. The 60s learned from someone. It was happening in the 50s. It's on and on. I think it has a lot more to do with celebritydom and the culture around it, and less to do with like a rock group or a movie star or anything like that. I mean, frankly, if you're in a situation where the town librarian is the most popular person in the level of like being a celebrity, you probably will end up having groupies, and sadly, someone misusing their power and influence. It just, as old as I'm sure it happened during the biblical times. Way more. I'm willing to bet that may have how we got Messiah.
Definitely happened in biblical times.
That may be how we got a virgin birth.
Yeah,
he wasn't so virgin. Sorry, I was just gonna say, just add on to the greater points that both of you guys made. One, at this moment, I'd like to bring out to individuals and for the rest of the world to hear, even though I am a lifelong Sean Carter fan, I do believe in the talent of Jay-Z. Hard fucking miss on his pair-ups when you look at his roster, because, by the way, it includes R. Kelly and Kanye. So watch out for the person Jay-Z does an album with next. And you may be thinking, well, RaShaun, he sort of did a mashup with Linkin Park. Here's the problem. He didn't actually do the album technically with him, although he did re-record some songs with him to mash it up. And shout out to Chester, because his birthday was a couple of days ago. Yeah, I love the fact that his wife posted one of the best pictures of him, which was sadly hours before he took his life. And moving into the next thing, which is, we say this all the time. I was just listening to one of our podcasts from a year and a half ago, and Josh was reminding our listeners that we do not plan this ahead. It's hilarious that Greg, Mr. Starchild, is attacking Jimmy Eat World the way he's doing, because I would argue my third renaissance into the moody emo stage was in my mid-20s when I moved back to Boston, and one of my good friends hands me the CD while we were talking about bullshit, and he's like, just listen to it. I don't give a shit. It's Stag Prevails. It is one of my favorite albums of all time. The only difference was I checked the moodiness, mainly because I was so broke I barely could talk to my parents because my phone was shut off left and right anyway. And I shifted it to a little bit more on the artistic side, which got me to write a little bit and moved me into what ended up becoming one of the basis building blocks of the novel I ended up producing.
Well, and you did, right? And everybody, RaShaun does have a book. You should go buy it. I'll leave the link in the bio. Everybody should go out and support this artist, support Greg and his art. Everybody, STEAM people, come together and unite. We've borne our souls for you here today. We have just shown you our cringiest scars, except for Greg, which somehow it still looks cool, motherfucker. Somehow he still manages to pull it off. I don't know how he does it. He just went, even when
never do. That's the point.
Never exactly right, Greg. Greg, thankfully you will speak to us here as we're in middle age now, because I think you would have been too cool for us when we were younger. RaShaun and I, it sounds like you and I could have been hanging and listening to some Jimmy Eat World, and I could have could have introduced you to some things. I'll leave you with the last thought before I start the sign off.
Hopefully not volleyball.
When you were talking about all the members of KISS and the ridiculous amount of groupies and sexual whatnot that was happening in the background there, I of course love again, just to add to my middle-aged white and nerdy, I of course love the band Rush. Canada's finest, absolutely love them, and they toured with KISS for a little while. I saw it in a documentary that Greg turned me on to, of all things, and there's nothing funnier than Gene Simmons talking about his time touring with them, where he says, we're at a place where a guy as ugly as me can get laid, and these three fucking nerds are going back to their room and reading books, right? So there's a reason why I definitely gravitated towards that band, because as I was discussing earlier, that's apparently what my parents thought were going on, and they were right. But all right.
Well, it was also, like I said, when I listen to music, it's not necessarily always to relate, but sometimes it's to hear the story, go on the journey, put myself in, the musician's place. And so I know, all right, Josh is really crazy about Rush. Josh is a smart guy, and I've definitely seen their merchandise. So I was like, yeah, let me give Rush a try. And it's one of those groups where you're like, I totally understand why everyone would be a little embarrassed for liking them. But oh shit.
This is
fucking blowing my mind, man. It's blowing my mind.
All right. Well, I feel glad.
Shout out to Coheed and Cambria, because that's how I feel about them, and I do like some of their stuff. But yeah, you know who you're talking to when they're like, man, when they bring up a random Coheed and Cambria album, it's like, oh, okay, cool. How's that D&D coming?
Oh well, hey, now you're talking my language. All right,
Warhammer.
Well, we have bared ourselves to the finest, and there's only one Warhammer. Let's be real. Come on. I mean, let's be, it's 40K, but we have bared ourselves. We have showed us our inner scars, we've had our own version of showing up to work naked in the dream that we've all had, but we've done it today, talking to the fine Steam people. But with that, I got to ask a little favor of you. Please head on over to Apple iTunes or Spotify, rate and review us. And really, please, if you're liking this, tell some friends, get some people out there to listen. We're always trying to promote the show. The best way that any podcast can survive and thrive is through word of mouth and getting other people to listen to it. If people don't, people don't listen, we're still going to do it. But it would just really help us out a lot if more people listened, and we could turn it into our livelihood, because goddamn, we'd love that. But before we leave you, I want to see what's going on. RaShaun, what do you have going on for the rest of this week here, this fine week here in Boston, Massachusetts?
Your eyes tell the stories of a day you wish you could. Recall the moments that once have. Retract the footsteps that brought us to this favor. I wouldn't ask this of you. Good eye, sniper. I shoot, you run. I want to end this by telling all the individuals who like to listen to us, and we appreciate your time, that throughout all the stories that we're talking about and fun times that we try to have, there's nothing wrong with sad melodramatic dramatic music. Sometimes even points to it being good to listen to when you're sad. Just don't emulate. As Greg pointed out, you can walk in those shoes, you can experience it, you can feel it. There's nothing wrong with it. It may be exactly what you need in that moment. And definitely reach out if you need something. However, you need to step out of those shoes and get back into your own. I shoot, you run.
Love it.
There it is.
Some deep knowledge coming from the three clubs. Greg, I'm putting you on the spot here. You got to follow that up. What do you got going on for the rest of the week?
Well, first I want to tell everybody, slam. Make noise, be boys.
Oh man.
Other than that, we're gonna get ready for summer in the real, man. as soon as the smoke passes over, we're gonna, put our minds on squeezing a good time out of the summer.
Fantastic. Well, nothing could be better than that as we're looking for it. I guess all I have to say to the people is I did it all for the nookie. Come on. For the nookie. Come on. So you can take that cookie and stick it up your, there we go. So, let's face it.
So edgy.
I always picture Stone Cold Steve Austin when he grabbed a beer and he would shake it up and like go to the crowd. That's exactly what I would see every single time I hear that chorus.
That's fair. I see exactly where you're going with that.
Right?
Yeah.
All I'm going to say is when you brought them on stage at Woodstock 99, clearly the promoters had no idea what they were doing or what they were bringing. Their biggest song at that point was called Break Shit. And they were amazed that people started breaking shit. Okay.
That whole thing started on an oversight. They put him on a tarmac. After there, it was all downhill.
After that, yeah, it just was downhill, right? But, yeah, all right. But, okay, well, this is Josh the Birdman thanking you once again for tuning in, giving us a little bit of your time. And till next time, keep your heat up and keep your head of steam on.